High five.
Get in tune with the sun, moon, and stars. This is Astrology with Yasmin.
Hey everybody, how are you doing? It's, what is it? The 7th of February 2002. The moon is at 8 degrees of Taurus, and I hope it's going to be a great show. So welcome, wherever you may be in the world. Today I'm going to be talking about the astrology for the week ahead, but I'm also going to be taking your calls because unlike the last 2 weeks, I actually don't have a guest this week. And so it gives me a chance to speak to you more. Hello, Miss Tracy on Facebook. I'm actually broadcasting live on Facebook and on unityonlineradio.org, whichever you prefer to go with. So looking at the description for today's show, Mars in Capricorn trines Neptune in watery Pisces this week. So we'll be talking about that. This may fire you up with an urge to help others. Let's hope so. It's a great week for charitable work and fighting injustices. But be careful not to burn yourself out trying to be all things to all people. Tune in to find out how your creativity, spirituality, and community spirit could get warmed up this week, and I will also take your calls. So it's kind of an interesting week. How have you all been feeling? Tell me on Facebook how you've been feeling. And if you'd like to call in and have me look at your chart or do a reading, the number to call from the US of A is 816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555. And if you're outside of the USA, but you have a special deal, because we can't guarantee that we're going to take anyone's call. Sometimes we get like so many that we can't even possibly answer them all. When that happens, it would cost you a lot of money if you're calling from outside of the US, unless you have a special deal, in which case you would dial the number that you dial to get out of the country, like 0011 in Australia or 001 in the UK, for example, and then 1 for the USA, and then 816-251-3555. Same number, 816-251-3555. I'm actually looking at the comments coming through, and I have to say I'm a little bit disturbed because what I'm seeing is a lot of people saying that they're feeling very emotional and very upset, which is not good. Why? What's up, everybody? Are you not feeling, you're just feeling a little bit discombobulated? I'm actually feeling better than I have done in a while. And I will say, one thing I've been doing in the last, I don't know how long, 2, 3, 4 weeks, is I've been walking. If you follow me on Instagram, you will have seen me constantly putting up pictures of trees and the river and walking down the river path going, look, it's the river path. Oh my God, it's amazing. Because here in London, where we are coming out of lockdown, yay, and I think that's it. Basically, they've reopened what's called Hammersmith Bridge. I think it was built in 1887 or something like that. And it was built to have a few little horses and carts trotting across it every day. And of course, now in 2022, in the last, ever since they closed it 5 years ago, but before they closed it, they were having something like 1,800 buses and I don't know how many cars going to and across it every day, and so they closed it, but they've reopened it to the public. And why am I telling you this? Excuse me. I'm telling you because what I've been doing is, since they reopened it, I've been toddling across it to the other side of the river where we go into sort of Richmond upon Thames / Putney, for those of you who know London. And it's a river walk. It's like the path is dirt, and there are trees, and you see the water, and you hear the birds and all this, and it's made such a difference to my mental state. Those of you who are long-time listeners know that I have been up and down and up and down, and now I'm going up again through this pandemic, and what saved me every time has been a spiritual practice. So what I do is I actually walk along there with my headphones on, listening to various sorts of music. Like some music that I love would be, for example, what they call the Hertz music, Hertz. And it's like, I can't remember all the numbers, but it's like 952 or something is the miracle tone, and there's a tone for love. And it's basically based on the solfeggio frequencies, and I don't know all the numbers off by heart, but that's amazing. So I just walk along in nature, listening to this high vibrational music. I've got a couple of apps that I listen to. Actually, I'm doing some work with an app called Life Rise. I do their stars, but we're going to expand our offering. Because I'm really into sort of listening to all this music. I also listen to a French woman who I highly recommend if you've never listened to her. She's just amazing, called Jacotte Chollet. Jacotte Chollet, Jacotte, Chollet, Jacotte Chollet. And she does what's called multi-dimensional music. So I often listen to that in my headphones as I walk along. Or I listen to it when I'm doing a meditation at home. And what she says is her music is like this magical thing that changes the very cells in your body. And I've been listening to her for I don't know how long. I first heard of her in Paris, and I lived in Paris must be about 16, 17 years ago. So I've been listening to her for that whole time, and she's amazing. So yeah, Jacotte Chollet, and there's someone else who came to mind. Oh yeah, Dr. Jeffrey Thompson, Thomson, I think, no P, I'm pretty sure. And he does like alpha and beta music. So again, you just go on to, well, not Spotify anymore. You go onto Apple Music, and you just look them up, or you find them on YouTube, and you just, honestly, take my word for it. If I had to go through that period of feeling, so I'm feeling a bit better and I can share this with you, then I am really, really happy about that, because it was worth it if I can help anyone else. I wasn't that bad, but I kind of, I don't know, I just ran out of good stuff, and I was just like, for a few weeks really. And it wasn't nice. And I took a bit of time out, and I did a bit of meditating. And I started listening to all this sort of music. I mean, there's no affiliate links or anything in anything that I'm telling you. I just did it. And I started walking, getting more fresh air. And I think it's meditating, really. And I have actually Colette Baron-Reid to thank for that as well. If you know Colette Baron-Reid, we had a good conversation. I was like, I just don't feel myself. I'm not feeling so good, Colette. Tell me about your morning routine. And she told me all about her morning routine, and she gets up and she meditates and she takes a card and she journals and all this sort of stuff. And it just really inspired me. So thank you, Colette. You're the best. I love you. I'd love to get to know you properly one day. We met once in New York about 5 years ago, and we've been like pen pals ever since. So I'm going to do a card now. So if you're listening on unityonlineradio.org, or you're watching on Facebook, let me know, is this card for you? You can say it out loud in Facebook. You can put it in the comments. You can just say, this card is for me. And, you know, have a question, or maybe just say, I just want general guidance. All right. Who wants a card? And then we'll talk about the astrology of the week ahead. Oh, well. Interesting card. So who is this card for? Hang on, I'm just going to try and see all these comments here. It's trying to get me to send myself stars, which I'm not going to do because that would be silly. Hang on. Oh, people are saying this card is for me. Stop it. All right. Bella Tack says this card is for me. Jessica Ryan says this card is for me. Angelica Nagas, this card is for me. Jackie Goody, this card is for me. Okay, loads of you. Betsy Knight, Louise Bark. Okay. Well, it's for me too. Are you ready? 3, 2, 1. Make time for self-love. Aha. And that is literally what I've been talking about for the past 12 minutes. 12 minutes. Literally, what I'm talking about is making time for self-love. And you saw me, I was shuffling the cards. So this is not me going, this would be an appropriate card. I must pick this out for everybody. Literally, this card is a message to say that what I've been talking about at the start, from the start of the top of the hour, is important for all of us. And nothing to do with me saying it, just the content. The idea that we need to have a practice. And I'm just going to ramble on a little bit more. Just bear with me for a couple more seconds. But I want to tell you a little story about Kyle Gray. I just mentioned Colette Baron-Reid. These are all the amazing Hay House authors that I've been lucky enough to get to know because of being a Hay House author myself. And, Kyle Gray, for example, has been doing a daily meditation for, I don't know how long it is now. I think it's like 555 days or something. I think he does a kind of a Kundalini meditation. I'm not really sure. But, he just says, I do it every day. Colette Baron-Reid said to me the other day, I feel like I'm name dropping, but these are all my fellow Hay House authors. We all get together and we chit chat. And, Colette was saying that she does them. For her, she said exactly what someone else has said, I'll tell you. She said, for me, it's non-negotiable. That is just non-negotiable. And then she also said, and then I'll tell you who else said that to me is Rebecca Campbell, who wrote Light is the New Black and Rise Sister Rise and Letters from a Starseed and all that, another Hay House author. Beck Campbell said that to me. It's non-negotiable. And I kind of discovered meditating, 20 years ago. And in fact, just by the way, all this fits in with the astrology of this week and with the card as well. I'll tell you why it fits in with the astrology in a minute. I started meditating. It must have been in about 1995 or 6 or something. So, at least probably 25 years ago. And I did it really, 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 really a lot for a long time. And then I kind of went off the wagon, and then I went back on, I went back off. And then the last couple of years, I found it much harder to meditate. And then I did a course with a man called William Bloom. He co-founded Findhorn, which is an amazing spiritual retreat up in Scotland that I've never actually been to, but I'd love to go to one day. And he actually came up with the name Alternatives for the Alternatives organisation in London, which is an amazing organisation who do loads and loads of workshops. Sonia Shoget just did a workshop there last week, all sorts of things like that. Anyway, so I did this thing. It was called Meditation for Teachers or Spiritual Teachers or something. So someone who does what I do, like I will lead, spiritual courses. I don't think I'm a spiritual teacher per se. I actually think of myself as an astrologer, and I am very much on the spiritual path myself. So things that I say obviously are going to have that thing. I don't think I can claim to be a spiritual teacher. I'm not really sure about that. But I do things like lead meditations often, and I'm going to do one before this half hour is out. And so I thought, well, I need to do that because he's really good. He's really well known, and I lead meditations, and I really could use some help. What's he going to say? And so I learned to meditate, doing like close your eyes and chant a mantra. Like it could be so hum, for example, so hum. If you know the work of Deepak Chopra, he really kind of popularized using that very well-known mantra, so hum, which I believe means I am that. And anyway, so I'd always done mantras, and I did a course many years ago in Sydney, and I got a mantra, and then I got another mantra, and then I got another mantra, and then I did TM, and I got another mantra, and then I went to India, and I met my teacher, and got another mantra. But then I did this William Bloom course, and he basically said, William Bloom basically said, you don't even need to do a mantra. And I'm like, I got so into the whole mantra thing, but I'd become almost like clogged up with it. And he was like, oh, you can do like, imagining colors in your head. You can do playing music, and then just letting it wash over you while you meditate. You can do candle meditations, which I knew that one, but he basically said throw away the meditation rule book and just do what you like. It doesn't have to be anything. And then I actually, again, I'm going to name drop another Hay House author. I was actually having lunch with Sonia Choquette in Paris once upon a time, and this was pre the pandemic, that's for sure. And I just done the workshop, and I said to her, hey, Sonia, you know, when you meditate, what sort of meditations do you do? She said, oh, I do all sorts of different meditations. She said, sometimes I like just go on a journey and I see where it takes me. And I'm actually reading, I'm talking a lot, aren't I? But I've got a lot to say today. I'm reading Sonia's book. Sonia was a guest on this show about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I thought, I said, she's just always been kind of a friend, and I've never done much, you know, of her work. So I went and I ordered her book, which she actually recommended while we were chatting, called Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose, for those of you who've read it. I think it came out in 2007, would you believe? Anyway, and in there she's got a great, it's a really, really good book, and she talks about the fact, for example, that you need to do active meditations. So you basically just tune into the cosmos when you're meditating. Can't find it now, which is a shame. Is it there? Love your body. Here we are. Let me see if I can read you a little bit. Actively meditate. It's Soul Lesson 18. She does say in the book you don't have to read it in the right order, and I skipped ahead for a bit because I saw this, and so I've just got back into meditating thanks to all these amazing teachers who are my co-authors, fellow authors. So actively meditate. This is the most effective way to shape your world as you wish. All right? The laws of the universe dictate that you create what you focus on. You do not manifest that which merely flies through your mind, but rather what you concentrate on. So before I go any further, that's like one thought. So, you know, we just did the Moonology manifesting challenge, and we did lots of clearing away, and then we did lots of focusing. And, you know, that's, if you did it with me, or even if you did it, you know, keep up with that now. It's really important. We're at the quarter moon now, and it's really important. Just keep meditating on what you want. Meditation is the practice of disciplined thought. Holding an intense idea over a long period of time brings about its counterpart in the physical world. Quantum physics verifies that your experiences are simply thought in motion. That is why contemplation is so powerful. It literally molds and generates everything that you encounter. Now, I'm just going to read you a tiny bit more. The secret is to meditate actively rather than passively. Let us begin by defining the latter method, which is the most common model in the world, and suggest, well, that's basically what I told you, when you just sort of sit there and, you know, calls for sitting still and emptying the mind of all thought for an extended period of time. Because when you do a mantra, the idea with a mantra is you say the mantra and you say the mantra and you say the mantra, and eventually you do what they call, you lose the mantra. The mantra just disappears and you just sit there with this empty mind thinking of nothing. So she calls that passive meditation. And I underlined this bit because I thought that was so interesting, especially because I really believe that. I think that's why I've had trouble meditating. She says, this technique is part of an age of consciousness that is ending. Oh my goodness. Although it is certainly one option, it is by no means the only approach, which is what William Bloom taught at that workshop I went to. It is not the most productive one in the present era of creation. And let me just say, before I go any further, because she's going to talk about active meditation, but why am I talking about this? What has this got to do with astrology, since this show is called Astrology with Yasmin? Well, as I said, this week we have the Mars Trine Neptune alignment, which is taking place on the 8th of February. And basically, Mars Trine Neptune is the absolutely ideal time to be starting to think about any of these things, to get active about your spiritual life. Mars is the planet that pushes forward. It's about drive and determination. And Neptune is the planet of the spiritual and the numinous and the divine. So it's a perfect time to be thinking, you know what, I'm going to fire up my spiritual I'm going to fire up my spiritual life. People are saying, what is this book? It's called Soul Lessons and Soul Purpose, and it's by Sonia Choquette, and I'm reading it right now, and it's great. So let's talk about the alternative. So we've talked about how the old paradigm is falling away, the old paradigm about just sitting and chanting a mantra silently and then just hoping that you just do what they call drop into the gap, where you're not chanting the mantra and you're not even thinking, you're just empty. This is different from chanting with your voice, by the way. We're talking about meditation here. Okay, so there is a more powerful form of meditation called active meditation that can assist you even further. In this practice, you hold your unwavering attention on something specific that you wish to experience. Now, that is right up my street because I am all about manifesting, as you may or may not know. Seriously focusing on a single thought will bring it into manifestation every time. Okay? Unswerving concentration literally shapes the psychic fluid of the physical world according to your thought. Sitting passively and centering your mind on nothing therefore becomes a waste of time, which is why so many of us are going, oh, meditation, the old style of meditation is not working for me anymore. Resting quietly, however, and actively musing on the love of God and the divine spirit and all living things is another matter. Just imagine what your life experience would be like if you directed all your attention to how much spirit cares for you. So there we go. And it says, do not fear the practice of meditation. You may believe you cannot concentrate or be scared you can't do it, but actually you are masterful at it. However, you call it something else. Worry. Anxiety is an intensively active contemplation. So basically what they're saying, and I say they because this is actually, she channeled this from some people called the emissaries of the third ray. Well, what they're saying is, when we worry all the time, what happens? We're just continually thinking about this thing that we don't want, which is obviously the very last thing we should be doing, isn't it? Obviously we don't want to think about what we don't want. We want to think about what we do want. But what do we do when we worry? We're just focusing on what we don't want. So that's why when you start to worry, a little technique for you, I've told you this many times, I've been doing it for about 15, 20 years. You put your hands between your breasts. I stick my hand down my jumper because I'm a very obsessive person, I think. But you could just put your hands between your breasts here, or in the middle of your chest if you're a man and you have no breasts or whatever. And you just put it there. If you get a bad negative thought and you start to, I'm just worrying, all these ideas are going out of my head, I'm overthinking. Hands between your breasts, the middle of your chest, and you throw it away as far away from your body as you possibly can with the word dismiss. Dismiss! Or what I sometimes say is dismiss fear, because I know that I'm just in fear. And that's something I've been through quite a lot of fear in the pandemic, and I had to do a lot of dismisses. So there you go. So we've only got a couple of minutes until we actually go to the break. So let's do a short meditation. Here we go. All right, so close your eyes. If you want to join me in the meditation, just close your eyes and just breathe. Doesn't matter, but in through your nose and out through your mouth is really nice. And as you breathe in, I'm going to ask you to just gather up all the stress or fear or anger or upset that's in you. And just breathe it out. Let it go. Just go and do it 3 times. Breathe it in. I can feel something shifting. In fact, I might even be about to yawn. Excuse me. That's something shifting when you yawn like that. Okay, breathe it in. And breathe it out. Now put your hands over your heart chakra. And I want you to think of someone or something or several someones or several somethings that you are truly grateful for. And we're just going to sit there. And the meditation is we're just going to say thank you, thank you, thank you in our minds, okay? Thank you, thank you, thank you, universe. And now, just say it silently 3 times. Rub your hands together. And I will take some calls after the break. I've got Paige, I've got Renee, I've got Teresa waiting. If you want to get on board, 816-251-3555. Speak to you after the break.
All right, break time.
Thanks, Louie. My God, that just went so quickly. I don't even... What happened? All right. So, should we do a card for everybody on Facebook? Let's do it. Oh no, let's not do a card. Let's talk about this card. We got the make time for self-love. I mean, that's kind of amazing. I never cease to be amazed by how well all these things work because, you know, we grow up with people saying, oh, it's a load of old nonsense. Oh, it's just silly. Oh, you're crazy. Oh, my mum, who's like one of the most psychic people I know, but she doesn't embrace it. Hi, Mum, if you're watching. She doesn't embrace it. She's not really aware of it. And she used to say when I was growing up, Yasmin, there's a fine line between all that kind of stuff and madness. But now that I understand about psychic ability and I know my mum really well, I know that she is fully psychic. Like she has experiences, like she meets people, especially when it's like she'll meet a friend of mine and I know lots of personal stuff about them and she doesn't know anything. And then she'll come out with some kind of comment after they've met. And I'm like, how does she even know that? She is really super psychic. Anyway, I've told her that, but she grew up in Malta, which is actually, 4,000 years ago was the home of the goddess. But someone's saying they're like my imitation of my mum. I'm terrible. I'm always mimicking people, and it's just like, it's okay, I suppose, to do my mum, but like in 2022 with all the PC stuff, you're not supposed to mimic people. So I'm sorry, Mum. I don't think she's going to be too upset. All right. What was I going to say? Yes. So Malta is a very, very, it's the home of the goddess. Like 4,000 years ago is one of the first goddess temples ever in the whole history of the universe. And, well, the history of the world anyway. And, but now it's extremely Catholic. And so because it's so Catholic, they frown on, well, they definitely would frown on astrology, I'm sure of it. I think one of my aunts in particular thinks, why is Yasmin doing astrology? So it's kind of interesting. But anyway, so here is our reading. You need to deal with your feelings. So if you're listening to this, this is for you. You need to deal with your feelings. That's the only way to get yourself back to where you want to be emotionally. If you're people-pleasing, stop. Think about what's going on and why you're doing it. If you're in an unbalanced relationship, address the situation. Basically, this card is all about looking after yourself. It's about looking after yourself and making time for yourself and making time for self-love. So excuse me just 1 second. I just need to write something down. Something else I thought of before, now I can't remember. All right. Okay, who wants a card while we're waiting? I think we've got about 30 seconds. First person whose name appears, I will do them a card. not seeing anyone. Oh, okay, Belinda Smith, this one's for you.
816-251-3555. That's 816-251-3555.
Breathe through the tension, Belinda.
Find out what's happening in the skies. Welcome back to Astrology with Yasmin.
Okay, so we just I just talked for half an hour, which I can't believe I can talk like that. I'm sure my husband believes it, poor fellow. And I've barely touched on the astrology. So let me just go back to the astrology, then I'm going to take some calls. So as I said, in a couple of days, we are going to have this lovely alignment between Mars, and Uranus. Mars and Uranus. I think I said Neptune before. I meant Uranus. So that's big and that's important. Do you know why? Because it means it's actually a chance for us to change up our spiritual practices, to change things up. Yeah, I don't know why I said Neptune. I'm really sorry about that. But definitely it's a time to be really motivated about doing things differently. And also this week, we are getting a Mercury conjunct Pluto. Now, what that is really intense thinking and words and thoughts, and like Mercury is the planet of the mind and the planet of talking and the planet of communication and the planet of reading. What have I done with the book? Reading. I just said before, I'm reading this book right now. It's amazing. So, and Pluto is the planet of power and passion and all, just intensity. So maybe that's why I'm speaking so intensely today, is because of this upcoming Mars-Pluto. So basically in the next week, it's a really good time to get motivated. It's a really good time to change your life if you want to change your life. And it's a really good time to have some really intense conversations if you're game for intense conversations. We've got the quarter moon, and then and we are headed towards the full moon. So if you did the Moonology Manifesting Challenge with me last week, thank you, welcome. I'm so glad you did it. But now's the time to keep the energy going. Don't just go, oh, well, I did my manifestation. I imagine what I want for 5 minutes and now I'm just going to wait for it to materialize. It's not like that. You need to keep on it. Basically, you're shaping your reality. You are creating your reality. As it says in that book, you're changing the psychic fluid of life, or however Sonia puts it. It's really, really important to, stick with it. And for those of you who don't know, I've actually got a very, very super duper special $1 for 1 month trial going on in my Sun, Moon and Stars membership. So if you would like to try us out, come and join us. I think there's about 1,500 of us right now. And normally it costs about £19 a month, which is about 25 American dollars a month. It's really good value. You get a great community. We do a monthly catch up. Once a month we do a meditation night. Once a month. I'm actually going to be changing things up a bit. We ask our members all the time, what do you want more of? What do you want less of? And they let us know so we can change things. And also after the challenge as well, I've decided I want to do even more manifesting in there. So if you would like to try us out, moonmessages.com/SMS1, just the number 1. So SMS, the number 1. moonmessages.com/SMS1. I remembered what I was trying to remember. All right, so let us go to the lines. We have so many people. All right, let's go to Paige, who's patiently waiting on line 1. Miss Paige, are you there?
I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for taking my call.
Oh.
I really enjoyed your show and listening to you on Facebook, and I have your book, so this is a real treat.
Which book do you have?
I have the Moonology Diary from last year, and then I have I can't remember which book I have. It's on Kindle, so I can't think of what the cover looks like.
Oh, okay. Maybe you've got the Moonology book.
Yes, I think that's it.
Okay. So were you born in Wilmington, New Hanover?
Wilmington, North Carolina.
Wilmington, North Carolina. Oh, I see what I've done. It's my mistake. There we go. Okay. All right. So let us... Oh, you were born just after a new moon. Gosh. So, Paige, have you had your chart done before?
No, not officially.
Right. So you are you're actually a quadruple Aries. You have Sun and Moon and Venus and the South Node all in the sign of Aries, which is kind of interesting because we've got lots going on in the sign of Aries right now. You've got your mind planet Mercury in Taurus, so even though you're kind of like a bit probably too speedy in some ways, you have a nice steady mental thing going on. And you're a Taurus rising as well. So what would you like to know about today, Paige?
Well, I'd have to say, overall, things have been going pretty good with me lately. I have a job that I love, and it's been going well. But I have this side hustle that I've been working for about 3 to 4 years, that's been lucrative for me and helping me with some financial goals, helping me to pay off bills and things like that. And it just ended abruptly yesterday without any warning, and it was kind of upsetting. And so the last 12 to 16 hours have been really upsetting. I've shed some tears and had a lot of stress, and I've felt a lot of fear come up around money and what am I going to do to replace this side hustle income, and or should I not be worrying about it so much? Maybe this is a time for a change.
So what was your side hustle?
From that?
What was your side hustle?
I was working in a restaurant as a server.
And suddenly they said, sorry, no more job.
Yeah, they just stopped working with my schedule, my other job, and it was nothing that really happened. It was just a miscommunication. They had a changeover of managers, and so the reason why it was so upsetting is because I had a really great relationship, with everyone there that I worked with and the management, and I feel like, the hard work that I did at that side hustle was, not recognized, and now it's gone.
Right, I'm so sorry. So, okay, so here's the thing. Right now, we just had the new moon conjunct Saturn, and it was in your 10th house. So what that means is we had all this really powerful new moon energy on the planet Saturn, which is the planet of hard work and jobs and making ends meet and professional life. So what I'm getting is this for you, Paige. Did this make room for something for you? Does this make some room that you needed in order to do something else? Self-care or... Yeah, tell me. Go on. Sorry.
I'm a singer and a songwriter, and I haven't pursued any musical performances since COVID started. I was just actually starting to get back into it at the end of 2019, and it was probably the happiest 3 months of my life. I just felt like I had just a whole nother level of color and experience and feeling in my life when I was pursuing that. And I know that my hesitation in getting back into it is harder to earn consistently financially with that. It requires more effort, but really it is truly my passion. And there were many times when I was at the restaurant when I thought, why am I here doing this when I could just be doing gigs and singing and doing what I really love to do?
So yeah, because I am a very intuitive person, and I got a very strong intuition that this had happened to make room for something more important. And so what I feel is that maybe that side hustle job has got you through, especially the pandemic when there wasn't any performing going on. But now we've turned the corner and people are going to start playing live again, aren't they?
Yes, yeah.
So I feel like that was to get you through the pandemic financially, but now you owe it to yourself and maybe the world to get out there and do your passion.
Okay. I appreciate that. Thank you. You know, my 17-year-old son told me that last night.
Aha! Always listen to the teenagers. They know everything, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, my son's 15. He knows everything. It's incredible.
I appreciate that. Okay.
All right,
good.
so get out there and get singing, girlfriend.
I will.
All right.
I will.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Paige.
Thank you. Have a great day. Bye.
You too, you too. All right, so let us go now to Annie, who is on line 6. Hello, Annie.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good.
What can I do for you today?
Okay, so basically, so I was working for like 11 and a half year, job position, and I recently just resigned to an amazing job that I love, but I also have like a passion, I feel I have another passion as well, like a side business, which I love, like helping others. I'm doing Reiki, I love the whole energy healing, just everything like that. I have essential oils, but it's just like, I feel like I'm unsure, and I feel like I put a lot of energy, on my side, business and everything, and I don't do it for the money. I just love helping others. So it's should I keep doing this? I'm not too sure. I'm just
Well, that's so weird. Did you hear the previous caller?
huh?
Were you listening to
Yeah.
I mean, it's exactly what the same question. She was doing a side hustle, it ended, and now she's going to do her passion. I think it's the same for you, Annie. I'm just going to do you a card, all right? But I think it's the same for you. I mean, why wouldn't you follow your passion? I don't even understand why you wouldn't for 1 second. Just go for it. Just chase it, baby cakes. No? Okay, and you got an interesting card. You got the full moon in Aquarius card, which is be real. Be real. So this card is about being the real you. So it means this side hustle, the Reiki, the healing, the helping people, that is the real you. So you need to get out there and be real.
Wow, okay.
All right?
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Annie.
Yeah.
Lots of love. Okay.
Bye.
Let's keep going, see how many we can do. Let's go to Renee, who's on line 3. Are you there, Renee? Hello, hello. Hello, Renee.
Hi.
How are you? Hello, yes, I can hear you. How's life?
Oh my goodness, I'm hanging in there. I'd love to hear what's in my chart. I lost my 29-year-old son in a hiking accident in May, and my world is turned upside down.
Oh my God, I'm so sorry, Renee.
I know.
Oh.
Me too. I'm so shocked that life goes on. In 8 months.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
I'm hoping there's something good in my. He was turning 30 and I turned 60.
Right. Have you got some therapy for that?
Yes.
Like some.
Yeah, I'm actually a therapist myself.
Oh, okay. What sort of therapy do you do?
Yes. I actually have a Stephen minister with the church who specializes in grief, and I have a spiritual director.
Yeah. I would also look at getting some kind of physical therapy, like massage or, going to an osteopath or something to help you, because you will have got a lot of that stored up in your body. And that's really, really freaking hard. I'm so sorry for you.
Can't tell I had Reiki this morning.
Oh, good, yeah. And also things like doing tapping, but things, I mean, Reiki's good, but it doesn't really manipulate the body. Think about trying to find something that will kind of manipulate the body. That's why I said like massage or rolfing or something that's going to really get it out of your body.
Okay.
Not that
Yeah,
you...
what about acupuncture? Yeah.
Oh, yeah, acupuncture, perfect. Something like that, something like that. All right, so you won't be surprised to hear it is a difficult time for you astrologically because you do have Saturn going right over your ascendant. But what that actually means, weirdly enough, Renee, is that as much as you've been through this terrible tragedy, this unspeakable event in your life, you're actually now then starting a new cycle. And so what you need to do is you need to think, okay, I'm actually now at the start of a new 30-year cycle. And what am I going to do with myself? You know, what am I going to create? What am I going to bring in? And yeah, that's probably the number one thing you can do at the moment, because it's actually a time to start new things. You might feel very old and battered, of course, because of what you've been through, but also because you've got Saturn on your ascendant. But yeah, now is really very much a time to try to move forwards and you know, even look at how can you maybe help other young people in some way, just because with Saturn there, you're going to be a teacher, you know, or maybe you somehow can help other people through what you've been through and to step up as some kind of elder, even though you're not that old, but, you know, who can help people.
Yep. Okay.
All right. I'm going to draw you a card. This Saturn aspect won't last forever. In fact, it's nearly over. I'm just going to check. Yeah, it's pretty much, it's over. You've called me just at the very end of it. But I'm going to do you a card, all right?
Yes.
And do get some physical therapy. Don't just do, I mean, my dad was a psychiatrist, so I do understand about the talking cure, and I completely support it. But get some physical therapy as well, will you?
Absolutely. Yes. Thank you for that. Yep.
And you've actually got the same card as the previous caller, which is funny, but it's the Be Real card. But I think in your case, it's about, you know, it's okay to like grieve more, go through it more.
Yeah.
And show the world how you are, and that will take you where you need to go.
Yes.
All right. Does that help at all, Renee?
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you, and I hope you're okay. I'm sending you lots of love. I'm actually going to do a chant for Renee, okay? I'm just going to do a chant for Renee because she's been through a lot. Let's just send her some good vibes. If you're watching, let's just do this for Renee right now, and I'm going to do Om Namo Narayani 3 times, and we're just going to send her love, okay? Even if she can't hear us because she's cut off now, but maybe she's listened, who knows? So sending Renee good vibes after the terrible things she's been through. 3 times Om Namo Narayani. Here we go. And I'm sorry if if you can't see what I'm doing. I'm doing, you know, magical fingers where you sort of send love through your fingers. I don't know what they call it. Like it's like you move your fingers around like you're sending magical power. So we're sending it to Renee. Okay, here we go for Renee. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. Om Namo Narayani. And just take a moment, put your hands over your heart, and just be grateful for all the wonderful good in your life. All right, okay, all right. Okay, well, I hope Renee felt that. All right, so let's go to Teresa on line 4. How are you, Teresa? Are you there?
Hi, Yasmin. Yes, I'm here. It's wonderful to talk to you.
And you, where are you?
I am in Richmond, Virginia, in the U.S.
So you are where you were born?
I am. Well, I'm about 20 minutes away from there right now. I actually just moved back here in January of last year after I retired from a 21-year military career.
Oh, what did you do in the military? My son would want me to ask you. He's mad about the military. What did you do?
Well, so I was in the Air Force, and for the first 8 years, I did avionics on the F-15 fighter jet.
Wow.
Then I retrained into education and training, where I did education and training for all of the maintainers on all of the fighter jets, up until I reached the superintendent level in that position, and then they made me a career advisor. It was special duties from there on out. My last assignment, and this is actually imperative to my question, was at the Air Force Inspection Agency, the actual inspection agency for the United States Air Force. And I feel like I ended up there for a reason. I just recently completed your moonology course. And I don't know the manifesting moonology course, but I am also enrolled in your manifesting moonology certification course. I've signed up for SMS. I have all of your books.
Oh, thank you, Teresa.
Of course, you're doing so much good, and it's helped me a lot these past couple of years, especially when I was at the agency that was in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and as you know, that's an extremely spiritual land there.
Yeah.
And that's where I think I started to realize my spiritual awakening. There's a lot of weird things going on here, Yasmin. So as I posted in the moonology course, my father was in the mafia. Ooh. And he was gone before I was 6 months old. I mean, basically, wow. He was never there. He left a lot of devastation behind. The case was closed, and as an adult, I did meet my father and my other siblings that he had while he was running from the FBI. And in the military, I faced a lot of trials and tribulations through, scandals and just crimes against women and families being absolutely devastated and destroyed. And I've worked through that, and my family was one that was destroyed, and all of that. And that is completely outside of the actual military mission. This is just from what people do to people. And so lately, there have been quite a few news stories coming out from the very, very strong, empowered, beautiful goddess women that I worked with in a short time frame at a specific location, of them either now finding out about scandals that their also military husbands were involved in then, or they are now being involved in. And I'm talking horrible tragedies. I'm talking rape. I'm talking paying high school students for sex. I'm talking, and I am infuriated that this is all coming up again, and I feel like there is no way, with everything that's happened in my life, I am not being called to do something, and I am getting psychic downloads to the point that my brain is about to explode. So I just, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
Clearly,
Yeah, I'm just going to do you a card, Teresa. My concern is that this radio show is about to end in 1 minute, so just stay on the line after the show ends, okay? And we can just finish talking. But I mean, what are you saying? Is your question, should I do something?
Yeah. So when I moved here, you know, everything was actually really good for me at that time. My family, I was looking forward to coming here, buying this house, helping my family. I was going to build a home, bought a home that's like 3,200 square feet. I was going to build a home that was sustainable, to give back to Gaia. I have 3 acres here. I was going to build a rainforest outside, all these things, and create a home that my family wouldn't have to leave in cases of pandemics. So a gym and all of the things that we need. However, as these things have come up, obviously I've had some, you know, outbursts. And my family has left me. And now I'm here all alone. And all I can feel is that the only reason the universe would have left me alone is because it's time for me to step into my power and fight for these women.
Yeah. So I drew you a card and, I'm going to tell her after. I'm so sorry, Louie. I was engrossed in the call and I forgot to say goodbye to everybody. But can I just speak to Teresa for a few more minutes, please?
Yeah, she's still here.
Oh, good. Thank you. All right. So, Teresa, I drew you a card and you've actually got a very interesting card. It says, think things through. So I think you need to think very carefully about how you want to use your energy. You know, there are probably a lot of people fighting the good fight. Think it through before you start to give it all your energy. Can you do that for me at least?
Absolutely. I feel like right now is the time for me to absolutely sit still.
Yeah, sit still and see if you can work things out with your family. I think that's the priority. And then see how else you go. I'm so sorry. We've had such people who've had such difficult times lately. I'm so sorry that you've had all this. But think it through before you do the next thing, and think about as well how important it is for you to have your family around you that you love, who love you.
Absolutely. Yes, that has been my number one priority the last 2 days. I've been trying to reach out to them, but you know, it's tough, Yasmin, because they have they have this sort of small-minded mentality that a victim will just perpetuate like victimhood to them. It's like, you know how when people see a victim, they just want to victimize them more.
Yeah.
It's just they've been, but I understand. I mean, look what my own mother went through. She was married to one of America's most wanted.
Yeah, it's crazy. I would say think it through and that will result in you deciding on your number one priority.
Is there anything in my chart that you think I need to know or that I might not be seeing? I mean...
No, not really. Your chart says that it's a good time for you to be working in helping people in the spiritual field. But I think you've got to be really careful about if it's going to alienate from your family, that's not right. So you need to think it through before you do it. That's the number one thing I would say. You've got Neptune on your MC. And you're about to have your Chiron return as well. So yeah, think it all through before, because the family, nothing's more important than family, in my opinion. And I'm sure those people, I don't know what's going on here, but I'm sure those people have people fighting for them who aren't going to lose their family as a result of it. All right?
I hope so. All right.
All right, lots of love.
Thank you.
Think it through, okay? Lots of love, Teresa. Oh, she's gone. All right, gosh, that was quite intense today. Thanks for listening, guys. I hope everyone's okay, and I'll speak to you next week. Yeah, I'm sending lots of love to all of our callers this week.